radical expressions with the same index and the same radicand may be combined. Okay, so before when we were just multiplying, they just needed to have the same index, right? But the radicands could have been different, so we could have multiplied this 2 by this 6 or whatever it was. In this case, when we're adding or subtracting, so either underline, highlight, circle, you need to have, oops, not underline, you need to have the same index and the same radicand in order to be able to combine them together either by adding or subtracting. Okay? So, is it easy to determine whether they have the same index? Yeah, you're just looking to see, is it a cube root and a cube root? Is it a square root and a square root? Is it a fourth root and a fourth root? That's easy to see. The difficulty comes in deciding whether it's the same radicand or not, because it might not initially look like the same number underneath the radical sign, and we're going to have to do some simplification to make it be the same number underneath the radical sign. So, to start out, here we go. We got 3 square roots of 24, and we're adding to it a square root of 54. Do they have the same index?
Yes.
Yes, they're both square roots, right? Do they have the same radicand? Not right now. I have a 24 and a 54. That's not the same. But can I simplify the square root of 24? What perfect square goes into 24?
4.
I was thinking 4. 4 times 6. So if I simplify that, I get 2 square root of 6. Well, I originally started with 3 of them. So if I had 3 sets of 2 square roots of 6s, how many total square roots of 6s would you have? You would have 6, right? So I'm just multiplying 2 times 3 to get 6 square roots of 6. Did everybody follow that? Okay. So now let's go to the second one. Keeping in mind that I need to have a radicand of 6 here, well, that kind of helps me a little bit if it was a very large number. This one's pretty easy because 54 is easy to come up with the numbers. But if it was a really large number, that's going to help me because I know that I need one of my branches to be the same as this, which was 6. 6 times what is 54? 9 is 9 a perfect square. Yeah, so that's pretty sweet. So the square root of 9 makes me have 3 square roots of 6s. So if I had 6 square roots of 6s sitting in a row, and then I add 3 more square roots of 6s, how many would we have? Huh? That just made me think of a ladybug book that I have with counting for my daughter. One little ladybug sitting on a vine. Vine doesn't rhyme with 2, so I don't know what it was for 1. Okay, so we have 9 square roots of 6s. Yeah? Did we follow that? Okay. Let's throw a variable into it. So 2 square roots of 20x minus square root of 45x. Because my directions are not saying assume that all variables are positive, the textbook's going to throw that little x is greater than or equal to 0, just kind of instilling the fact that it has to be a positive variable. That's all this means right here. Do we have to worry about it? No. Okay, do I have the same index?
Yes.
Yes, both square roots. Not the same radicands, but let's try to convert them so that they are. Perfect square going into 20 would be 4 times 5. So that simplifies to 2 square roots of 5, and the x is just kind of, you know, hanging out like that mole on your back. It just doesn't go away. So 2 square roots of 5x. But originally, we started out with 2 of them. So how many do I really have? 4. Good. So 4 square roots of 5x. Now let's go over to the 45. I know that I need one of my branches to be 5. 5 times what is 45? 9. So 9 times 5 simplifies to 3 square roots of 5x. So if we had 4 square roots of 5x, and then 3 square roots of 5x went away, you would have 1 square root of 5x remaining. Yeah? Does that feel nice? Doing easy stuff? All right, let's go to cubes. Let's skip that one. Let me just go back. Don't write this down. Could you do anything with that?
No.
Why not?
Because square root of 3 and square root of 5 don't simplify.
Yep, 3 and 5 do not simplify, so you can't get it to the same radicand. Those are nice ones. All right, so 2 cube root of 16 minus 5 cube roots of 54. I've got a cube root, check, check. I do not have the same radicand, so let's try simplifying. What's the largest perfect cube that goes into 16? 8 times 2. So now we have a cube root of 8 times a cube root, oh not 2, not 8. Cube root of 8 times the cube root of 2. So that goes to 2 cube roots of 2, but originally we started out with 2 of them, which means I would multiply to get 4 cube roots of 2. All right, largest perfect cube that goes into 54.
27.
Well, that's not a perfect cube. 27, right? 3 to the third, so it would be 3. Your brain is 3 steps ahead of mine right now, Easton. All right, so we've got 27 times 3. It's just on top of it. So the cube root of 27 is 3. We're left with a cube root of 3. But I had a 5 originally, so really I'm subtracting how many? Oh, hold on, this isn't 3. This should be 2. Thank you. I was looking, I'm like, that says a 2 and that says a 3. I know I must have done something wrong. So 2 and 2. Okay. So 3 times 5 makes 15 cube roots of 2. So subtracting 4 minus 15 leads me to get negative 11 cube roots of 2. Okay. So those type of problems are on your homework. Look here. Are the first few, which you're doing 5 through 25. So that's what you're pretty much doing in 5 through 25. We might have a variable in play there, like this one. That doesn't get too crazy with your variables. So 2 cube roots of x squared plus y plus 3 cube roots of 8x to the 5th, y to the 4th. Do you have like indexes?
Yes.
Yes. 3 and 3. I do not have like radicands currently, but maybe they will be. Can I simplify this left one any further? How do I know I can't? Look at your exponents. Well, first there's no numbers to simplify. This exponent's smaller than my index. This exponent's smaller than my index. So I know this is already simplified. Go over here. Can I simplify a cube root of 8? What is the cube root of 8? 2. How many times does 3 go into 5? Once, with how many left over? 2. How many times does 3 go into 4? Once, with how many left over? Now do I have like radicands? Yes. Now I have cube roots of x squared plus y. But can I combine 2xy and a 2? Like if I just gave that as a problem, I said, oh, let's add 2 plus 2xy. Could you combine those? No, because they're not like terms, right? So when this happens, what the textbook wants you to do is to factor out any common pieces that you have. What is common with the first term and the second term? The cube root of x squared plus y. Is there anything else that they have in common?
2.
The 2. So do the reverse of the distributive property. If I factor out a 2 and a cube root of x squared plus y, what would be left over?
XY.
What would be left over here? out of the first term. There has to be something here to fill in the space.
Oh, one.
A 1, right, plus your xy. And that would be your final answer. Okay, so if you get to a point where like, I can't add these, think about what can you factor out to simplify it further. And reason being is when we finally get to equations, that's going to help you to be able to solve things easier. Okay, let's try this one out. 3 more. This is the one of the 3. 5 square root of 4x to the third plus 3 cube roots of 64x to the fourth. Can you add these together because they have like indexes? Nope, I got a square root and I got a cube root. But I can probably do something to try to simplify it. So let's just do some simplification. Can I simplify a square root of 4? Yep, what's that? 2. What's going to happen to the 2 and the 5? That's going to make a 10. Is everybody okay with me going right to the 10?
Yeah.
So I did a square root of 4, which is 2. 2 times 5 makes 10. How many times does 2 go into 3?
Well, that's fraction. Oh wait, no, once.
Once with 1 left over, right? So this first term simplifies to 10x square roots of x. Now let's go over here. Cube root of 64. That is a perfect cube. What to the third power is 64?
16 times 4.
4. Good. So the cube root of 64 is 4. 4 times 3 makes 12. How many times does 3 go into 4? Once. And I'm left with how many left over? 1. Good. All right. So this whole thing simplifies. I'm going to get rid of these little numbers so I don't confuse those for exponents. These two terms simplify down to this. Still can't add them together, but can I factor out common pieces? What do they have in common? They both have an x here and here. Can I take anything out of 10 and 12? 2, right? So if I factor out a 2x, I'm left over with a 5 square root of x plus 6 cube roots of x. Can I see that? All right, and the last 2 ones we have to do are fractions. What happens when there are fractions? Is everybody ready? So if we have 2 times the square root of 75 over 16 plus 4 times the square root of 8 over the square root of 32. Simplify the left first. Can anybody tell me what the square root of 75 would be simplified without actually writing it out? Can you mentally do it?
Square of what?
75.
Talk
That's 25 out.
Yeah.
And that's 5 on the outside, and then the square.
There we go. All right, so I have 2 times 5 square roots of 3. All over, what's the square root of 16? 4. Okay. Put that 2 over 1, what can you reduce on this diagonal? Take that 2 to a 1, and that would go to a 2. So that first fraction becomes 5 square roots of 3 cut in half. Okay. Now let's do the next one. Ready, John? Square root of 8, go.
Square root of 8, that's 4, and that puts you 2 on the outside, 2 on the inside.
Okay, so we have, so this is going to go to 4 times 2 square roots of 2. Can you do it for 32?
What's the, that one's tougher. You got an 8 and the
Go bigger.
16 and 2?
Yeah. So, yeah, so
Okay. That'd be 4 times square root of 2.
good. What happens to these 4s? On the diagonal, they're going to go away, right? So now I just have a 2 square root of 2 all over the square root of 2. What happens to these guys? They cancel out. So all I'm left with is just 2. So that whole second fraction simplifies to just a 2.
Pretty easy.
Pretty good.
Okay, can I combine those together and make one fraction?
Bottom.
How do I add fractions?
Well, you gotta get a common.
Get a common denominator.
So that's 4 over 2.
So this is going to stay 5 square root of 3 over 2. My common denominator would be a 2, which would be 4 over 2. So then all I'm adding to my numerator is a plus 4. Then it's one fraction. Huh?
And I wasn't cross multiplying.
Or reducing on the diagonal.
I was
Yeah.
the same.
All right, we'll stop there. We won't do the last fraction one. Has some variables in there. Let's get some March Madness in.